Welcome, guys. Happy evening here. We are live. What's going on here? Just making some notes here on the computer here because we are talking about top 5 tips here to win your league. Excited to dive in. Guys, it is full force fantasy football season here. All right, this is it. This is time. There's no time to waste. It's draft season. So what we're going to do here is very important. I'm going to break it down with the tips. Okay, I'm going to give you guys the tips. Then we're going to get into a Q&A. So wait till some people come in here and we will rock it here. Just writing down all the tips, and then I will start putting them up on the screen for you guys, and we will rock this. Welcome. Looking at the comments here. Anthony already dropping some. If you guys want your questions answered for sure, do what Anthony does, is go with the super chat here. And that's what we're doing today. We're doing a Q&A pretty much. And we got the 5 tips we're going to work in as well, okay? So Anthony Campos says, would you trade Zamir White and Xavier Legette for Keon Coleman and Blake Corum? You've got Bijan, Stevenson, Spears, and Benson are my other running backs. Man, oh man, that's a tough one. I would probably hold with what you got. I just like Zamir White. I think he's going to crush it. It depends on who other your wide receivers are as well. I do love Coleman. I think Blake Corum's going to get some work. This is a tough one, man. It's a really tough one because you're top heavy. It depends on which position you value more, Anthony. I think you're okay at running back. I wouldn't mind having that extra running back depth, to be honest with you. Again, depends on who other your wide receivers are. But I'd probably lean Zamir Whiteside. That being said, I love Coleman. I'm the guy that loves Coleman. So that's tough, man. When you put two of the guys I like, side by side, it gets really tough for me. But again, it depends on which one you value more there. So again, those of us just joining, guys, smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up, guys. Very, very important. Hit the thumbs up, hit that thumbs up, and drop a comment below. This is a Q&A, guys. Everybody, this is a Q&A, but I'm also offering 5 tips as we go. Or maybe we'll just get through the 5 tips first, and then we'll kind of go through the Q&A, or we'll mix it up, man. Half an hour, full-on Q&A. If you haven't got tickets to the Fantasy Sports Summit, tomorrow evening I won't be on live. I'm going to be live at the Sports Summit. So if you guys want to join us at the Sports Summit, get the tickets right now, thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. I'm going to drop a link here, Fantasy Sports Summit. Get your tickets right now. It's going to be a live interactive conference. You guys don't want to miss this. I'll leave it below. I got a discount for you guys right now for all you guys on live. Use code DEAL. That's the code here. Can I pin a comment here? Use code DEAL and you literally save 50%. I'm writing this down. You guys got to be there. Trey Benson, Kyron Williams, Pat Frymouth. We're all going to be there tomorrow. Fantasy Sports Summit right now. Use code DEAL. There it is. Use code DEAL. I can't type today. To save 50%. Drop your comments below, guys, to save 50%. Code DEAL. All right, there you go. Guys, join us for the summit tomorrow, 7:30, all online. Can I pin this? You should be able to pin my own comment. That's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Can you guys see that? I can start the comment. I'm not sure if I can pin it. So tomorrow, guys, Fantasy Sports Summit, and grab the 16-round draft solution. If you haven't got it, grab it below. Sleepers, breakouts, auto players draft in each round. Grab the 16-round draft solution. All right, let's go with tip number 1 here. Very important tip. Very, very important tip. Aim high on the depth chart. Guys, I cannot express to you how underutilized and how much common sense this is, but people are not doing it. Aim high on the depth chart, guys. Tip number 1. Aim high on the depth chart. Why is this important, guys? This is very, very important because, guys, a lot of people are going to be drafting wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3s within the first 2 to 5 rounds. Guys like Nico Collins. We don't know if he's the one, right? Jalen Waddle coming off early. T. Higgins last year, round 2, and he's still coming off round 4 or 5. He's the wide receiver 2. When I can get myself a Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman, or someone like that later, right? And I don't have to pay, and I'm not paying the early draft capital to play the guessing game. Guys, it's very important to aim high. And this is one of the main reasons, guys, this is one of the main reasons why I go running back early, because it's harder to get a workhorse running back that's guaranteed to be a workhorse after round 4 or 5, okay? That's why I like running backs early, because I'm aiming high on the depth chart. Again, we got some questions here, guys. Aim high is tip number 1. Again, all the answers are laid out in the 60-round draft solution. We got a question here from Jay Mills in the house. Again, if you want your questions guaranteed, drop a super chat. Okay, so Jay Mills, what's up? Trade the 2.06 and the 606 for 1.10. Okay. Feels like I have to stream one position to late rounds. Feels like I have to stream one position to late rounds. QB, tight end, RB2. Full 12-person man, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs. Any advice here, RB? So you traded the 2 and the 6. I have to stream one position to late rounds. I see what you're saying here. I still think you got to get those running backs early, man. 2 RBs, you still got to get the best available running back. I don't know who you moved up, for the one, like, who do you want? I'm guessing you want the best available running back. That's why you did that. Like, I'm not really concerned about the 6th pick. There is some good wide receiver value there for sure. I would just try to get the best available running back if he moved up to get that. And that way you're going to have, I guess, where are you drafting from? I guess you're going to have another pick in that round as well. You're getting 2 picks in round 1. If that's the case, I would like to just try to get a running back, best available. The guys I like are Breece, Byjan, Saquon in that first round, okay? Again, we're going to get to questions in a second. So tip number 1, going back, guys. Tip number 1, you want to aim high in depth chart. This is very, very important. I want to get that out of the way. Very, very important. Aim high in depth chart. Tip number 2, again, going back to what I just answered in this question, is you want to go running backs early. Again, guys, they're very, very scarce at this position. There's only a handful of running backs because I was looking at it. Round 3, you're looking at the ATNs and Pachecos, who are safe, but not as exciting and dynamic as the Breece, the Byjans, and all those guys earlier on. That being said, there is going to be a lot of sleepers at the running back position this year, a ton of sleepers. It's just that we don't know who they're going to break out. We got Audric Estime. We got Braylon Allen. If Breece goes down, he could be a league winner, honestly. I've been stashing Braylon Allen on all my teams, right? We've got, again, off the top of my head here, Bucky Irving, Marshawn Lloyd, Blake Corums, right? There's a ton of guys that are in positions that could do well. Chase Brown, right? I just gave you a bunch of sleepers here for free. All right, that's why smash it, tap it, slap it for the extra bonus and content here. These guys, and when I am looking at guys to stash at running back later, I am looking at the rookies because a lot of guys at running back that just suck that I just wouldn't even waste on my bench. I'm going for those upside rookies in a position to really, really thrive, okay? So tip number 2, running back early and then stash some of these, these potential breakouts later on, okay? This is very, very important, guys, okay? Smash it, tap it, slap it, drop your comment. We're going to get to Q&A here at the end. If you guys are just joining us, hit the thumbs up and drop a comment below. We're going to get to a Q&A, okay? All right, tip number 3, we are going with don't follow the consensus. This is very, very easy. This is a very important tip because, guys, what's going to end up happening is you're going to be in a draft, and what you're going to end up doing is you're like, oh, man, like you're in the 2nd round or 3rd round, you're going to see Nico Collins there or other wide receiver 2s. Remember, we talked about aim high and depth chart. You're going to see other wide receiver 2s, and you're going to be like, hey, man, like Waddle's there. But you might want to reach a little bit more. If you reach a little bit more, potentially you get a better wide receiver. There's a ton of wide receivers I like over some of these wide receiver 2s like the Waddles of the world and Nico Collins over the world, right? You're almost better grabbing the best available position. Maybe it's another position. Maybe you want to get an ace quarterback in those early rounds. That way you mitigate the risk of this wide receiver guessing game that you're playing where it's like this wide receiver or that wide receiver. And that's a huge guessing game, okay? So guys, listen, you definitely want to mitigate the risk here and get an ace position in those early rounds. Don't follow the sheep and don't just draft a person based on ADP because that's where he's coming off, okay? So don't follow the consensus, the consensus rankings. They will lead you astray, okay? Next one here, tip number 4 is line mentality. This sounds a little corny, but listen what I say about this, okay? Once you've aimed high on the depth chart, you've done your research, you don't follow the consensus, you've gotten the 16-round draft solution, you have conviction in your picks. That is the main thing, right? Once you believe in your players, you follow the Cuddy system, consistency, upside, durability, depth, and youth, that player scores at least 3 out of 5 of those, right? He's consistent. He's got upside. He's young. He's dynamic. Once you have that, right, you You got to implement your lion mentality and say, man, I got conviction. Even, once you have your team, but more or less, even when you're drafting, because when you're drafting, you're like, man, oh man, like I know what I want. I know that this player is going to crush it. Round 5 comes, that's the guy I'm going for. There's certain players this year, which I explained in the 16 round draft solution, they're like, man, I laid out, like I have to have those players. And I want you guys to have that mindset where you believe in those players, you've done the research, you have the conviction, and you go in with a lion mentality, okay? Very, very important here. We'll get to questions in a bit. Again, if you want your question guaranteed to answer, drop a super chat. I will see it and I will answer it. They get priority because you guys are investing in me, so I invested as well. By the way, I am doing direct coaching as well, thefantasyfootballaccounts.com. Direct coaching, everybody. I'm on my website. You get direct access to me. And there's also the Patreon group as well. Patreon.com/FFcounselor for the in-season community, waiver wires, starts and sits. I do a Q&A as well where I do a weekly post where I get to it and get your questions guaranteed in the captain package and up. So join the front lines, okay? Tip number 5 here, last one, be very picky. Okay, what do I mean by that? You're aiming high on the depth chart. You got the young talent. You got the upside players. You want to be selective. You don't want to just settle for a player simply because he's got a popular name, right? I remember a year where Odell Beckham Jr. was coming off round 1, like 4 years in a row. It was like 3 years in a row or something like that. And they were just drafting him because his name was Odell Beckham Jr., even though he was busting every single year. You want to be picky. You want to be selective. You only want the best of the best on your team that are going to actually help your team. You don't want to draft a player because you're a Steelers fan, for example, or, that player is popular, or that player makes a lot of money, or that player is making news headlines, or whatever it is, just because he's popular. You want to get players that are really going to benefit your team, that are going to contribute to your team, that are high on the depth chart, that are volume getters on your team. Get the volume getters, guys. Don't get the betas. I'll give you a quick example this year what I mean. A lot of people are drafting Christian Kirk ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. It's just where he's ranked. Remember, I told you, don't follow the consensus. Give me Brian Thomas Jr. all day. Currently ranked wide receiver 50, while Kirk is ranked wide receiver 26. There's no logic. There's no common sense here, guys. It doesn't make sense to me. Go for the guy that's got the upside instead of the name or the consensus or whatever the ranking is. Okay, so be picky, be selective, and you'll be light years ahead of the sheep, okay? So let's get to the Q&A here. Again, hit the thumbs up, guys. Very important. You smash it, tap it, slap it. As soon as we're done, go grab the 16-round draft solution and grab a ticket to the Fantasy Sports Summit tomorrow night, 7:30. We got Kyron Williams, we got Trey Benson, we got Rashid Shaheed, we got Pat Fryermuth. We're all going to be live online asking them questions. You get a chance to ask them questions as well tomorrow night, guys. We're 7:30 Eastern time. Grab a ticket, Fantasy Sports Summit. Just Google it or go to thefantasyfootballaccounts.com. Grab a ticket right now. Use code DEAL, and it's 50% off for everybody who's listening right now, okay? Go and grab a ticket right now and grab the 16-round draft solution. All right, so let's get to the Q&A here. Again, if you guys want the question guaranteed, drop a super chat, okay? You just need a shot of water here. All right, here, let's go. All right. What's up, Brandon? What's up, bro? Love your channel. I'm in Canada trying to buy 16 rounds, but having trouble. Do I need to buy Patreon first? Walk me through. No. Just go to my website. It should work. There's a PayPal option and there's also a credit option as well. Very easy to buy. Sometimes if there's an issue, it's not with my end on it. It's actually maybe your browser. Try a browser, try a cell phone. It works. You don't need any prerequisites. It's a one-time payment. Grab 16 rounds. It should work. Again, it might be a browser thing, but I don't know why you're having an issue. I've never had that ever happen. So go to my website, thefantasyfootballaccounts.com. Go to 16 rounds. There's a tab there, and you should be able to purchase it. And there's several options to buy it. Email me at joe@ffcounselor.com or the tech support, joe@ffcounselor.com. And if you have any more issues, but should be okay. Let's keep going with some questions here. Man, let's see here. What is it? If the Consheeps offered you money to join them, would you? That's a great question, Joe R. So Consheeps is being like these networks, the 4-letter networks, that's one thing I'd have to like really, really think about, because it'll get to that point. And at that point I got to see, because again, it's similar to what Joe Rogan did. You got to maintain your platform. You got to maintain your personality. And I would never compromise that to conform to a set of rules, no matter what the money is. So to answer your question, I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing. I think it's really good. I think the money's good. I think I offer a lot of value. I think I like it better. I don't want to be told I got to show up to work or I got to be there. I got to wear a suit and tie or whatever. Not my style. So it's a no. There's one thing. I mean, what is life about? It's about freedom, right? Freedom to do what you want on your own time, right? And I don't think there's an amount of money that could really supplement that. And even if I have the money, maybe you're in for a year or two, you try it out, maybe you're out. I don't know. I'd have to see how it goes. What's up here? What's going on? What's up, Trez? Pick 9. Says, imagine drafting London round 2, Cup round 3, Higgins round 4, and I actually think you drafted a good team. Yeah, man. Like, again, I think Cup is going to be safe, but again, very expensive. Higgins don't care for. Again, those are just like wide receiver 2s, uncertainty. London could have some upside. I mean, it is a make or break year. It really is. It really is. Keep the comments coming, guys. Let's keep it rolling. We are in draft season, trying to help as many people win their leagues as possible, but all the answers are in the 16-round draft solution. What's up, Dan Iglesias in the house? Dan's a regular. I recognize his name. Draft workhorse RBs, then tight end and QB middle rounds, and then all rookie wide receivers. Yeah, man, I definitely like the strategy. Sounds kind of like 16 rounds for sure. Which tight end? Oh, man, you got to go Theo Johnson as a sleeper. I'm in on Theo Johnson, man. Just stash him. Stash Theo Johnson, thank me later. He's a stash, going completely undrafted. Martin Martinez in the house. If you had the 1.01, who would you pick? 1.01, I'm going, it's either between Brees or Bijan, and I'm going Bijan. I'm telling you guys, just stash Braylon Allen later. You'll be very, very happy with that, okay? Bruce, again, same question. Brees Hall or Bijan seems to be like the main question people ask. Again, I've kind of explained this. We don't know the beast that we're getting with Braylon Allen. We don't know what we're getting. What we're getting more with Tyler Algier, right? We're getting a mediocre, lackluster running back that's subpar and nowhere near as good as Bijan. Whereas Brees Hall is really good. We don't know how good Braylon is. Braylon could come out and just like, man, all of a sudden we got a 50-50 split. We don't really know. You don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful. You don't know what you don't know. But what I do know is that Bijan is the alpha there in Atlanta, okay? That's what I do know. There you go, man. OCD in the house. What's up, man? OCD is a regular, always contributing. I wanted to thank you, man. I appreciate the support to the channel. It means a lot. Guys, again, if you want your questions answered and you want to skip the line, simply just do what he's doing here, Obsessed Car Detailing. And he's shouting out his company. I don't know where you're located, but I would, if you were local, I'd probably go get my car detailed there. Why CJ over AR-15 when Love is available later? Yeah, I mean, you get Love later. I'm okay with doing that. I just feel safe with CJ. I like Josh Allen better, right? But if CJ is there and if Allen's gone, I like him more than Anthony Richardson as well, simply because he's got an offense that could do it. Now, he doesn't have the rushing upside, but he's got the potential to throw 40 touchdowns. That's what you need to do to make up for it. I mean, this is it, man. He's got all the offensive weapons. The talent is there. I think he gets it done. I think he throws for a lot, and I think he picks up some rushing yards here and there as well. So I'm not really concerned about CJ Stroud having a bad year, knock on wood. I still think he has a good year. I think he's going to be super safe, and that's what I'm looking for in the early rounds is a safe quarterback. But I'm always backing it up. Again, you always want to back up your players, okay? What's up, Larry Pex? What's happening, Larry Pex? Oh, there's Larry again. I remember this guy. I went Bijan at 1, then Rachaad White, Alvin Kamara, Mark Lamar stack. Okay. Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson stack. Still got Ridley and Coleman. Wow. Yeah, all I'm saying is I hope you have a good backup for Lamar. I like Lamar. Something tells me, man. I hope he doesn't get hurt, but he had a good year last year, but remember the years before, couldn't finish the season, so we don't know what he's going to default to. I don't know. I like Lamar. Again, I'm a fan. I'll watch him just for fantasy. I still have a hard time trusting Lamar. So just make sure you have a good backup for him. You should be okay. Be careful with Rachaad White as well. I think he's going to have some competition this year. Bucky Irving, Sean Tucker. I think they might eat into some of his volume. I don't know. I'm just having this feeling there. Let's keep going. Guys, keep the questions rolling. Nick Conklin, any relation to Tyler Conklin, who's a sleeper at tight end? He's saying he's got Zamir White and Chase Brown for Pacheco. I'd rather have Zamir White. and Chase Brown. 100%. Zamir White's going to be a beast. Zamir White beats Pacheco in fantasy points alone, and you got that upside there with Chase Brown. So yeah, I mean Chase Brown. I'm not really sold on Zach Moss doing anything there in Cincinnati, so I think Chase Brown could be doing something. We're in a Q&A, guys. Drop a comment, hit the thumbs up, smash it, tap it, slap it. This is a Q&A. If you want to get ahead of the line, do exactly what Anthony's doing here. Smart person right here, smart man. Okay, so for Zamir White trade for Coleman, my quarterback is Josh Allen. I want to stack, and my other wide receivers are Ridley, Ladd, Dobbs, and Polk. I think you're good at wide receiver, man. I think you're good all around. Honestly, I definitely see the fascination with that Coleman stack. I think you're good either way, man. I think Ridley, Ladd, I think you're going to get two viable wide receivers. I guess if I had to choose, I guess your wide receivers have more question marks than your running backs. If I had to choose, I think you're good either way. I know it sucks you missed out on Coleman. I think he's going to absolutely ball. But I just think the situation with Zamir White is so good as well. It's really a coin flip, man. I think you're good. It wouldn't be such a bad idea to pad those wide receivers, and you got that explosive, exciting upside of Keon Coleman, and you got that nice stack. So that being said, man, see if you can get more for the trade. If you can't, I think you're good. Now, seeing this, I mean, I wouldn't mind the Coleman situation as well. So again, I think you're good either way. I don't think it's a bad move either way. Again, it's like splitting hairs. I guess I would kind of lean the Coleman side, but I think you're good either way. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Go with your gut on that one. It's a tough one, man. Keep White off for lower. Yeah, OCD saying keep White off for lower RB first. Yeah, if you can find a way to keep White, man, that would be awesome. See what you can do. Maybe get rid of one of your other running backs. Who was your other running back? Let me go back here and see. Who was his other running back? It was right here in the highlighted comment. I'm going to find his other running back here, if I could find it. So he's got Spears, Benson. Maybe offer up Stevenson. I think Stevenson's safe too, but I'd probably rather have Zamir upside over Stevenson. Maybe you could do that, or wait till one of those other running backs has a big week or something and trade them. But yeah, I think you're good. All right, let's keep going with these questions here, man. Keep rolling. Favorite QB after Stroud, man. At that point, I'm probably waiting for Love. I like Love. I really like Love. I think he's safe, but no matter what, you're backing him up. Even if I have Josh Allen, which I do in a lot of leagues, I'm backing him up. And again, in 60 rounds, I tell you exactly which quarterbacks I like and exactly who to back up, okay? 7, Sven Phelps. What's up, Sven? What's happening, man? I'm in an 8-man league, keep in mind. My RBs, believe it or not, are Byjan, Gibbs, Cook, K9, Warren, Stevenson, Jonathan Brooks, and MJ, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, Neighbors as receivers. That's not bad. Sounds stacked. It sounds like a typical 8-man league. I'm not really sold on James Cook. I think you could dump him off. I think he's going to bust. Warren's dealing with an injury. I think he'll be good. He might miss some time. Jonathan Brooks is missing time. I think, I still think you're good. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Brooks, I'm fading Brooks in leagues right now just because, again, I missed it. He's probably going to start the league on IR the year, and I just missing time, and I got a lot of question marks. League winning upside, but I just be a little cautious there, especially with that offense, okay? Let's take a couple more questions here, and I got to wrap this up. Again, go grab the 16-round draft solution, guys. As soon as we're done here, grab the solution. You don't want to draft without this. Honestly, guys, you're going to be missing out. Do not draft those 60 rounds. Grab it right now. And we got some big shows. We also got the Fantasy Sports Summit tomorrow. You don't want to miss out on that because honestly, it's gonna be amazing. And you want to use the code DEAL, and you're gonna save 50%, guys. That's huge. It's only like $14 to get in. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come hang out with NFL athletes for $14? Get in, guys. Fantasy Sports Summit. Google it or thefantasyfootballhouse.com. Go grab a ticket, use code DEAL, and you get in. Guys, grab your ticket right now. You don't want to miss out on this. I'm telling you right now. We got Kyron Williams, we got Pat Fryerbooth, Trey Benson. Frank Gore Jr. is there. I'll be there. We'll be giving advice. Jimmy's going to be there. And the bald guy's going to be there behind the scenes. It's going to be fun. Tomorrow, 7:30. Grab your ticket. Use code DEAL. Fantasy Sports Summit. You don't want to miss it, okay? Let's go through a couple questions here. I got a bunch of questions here. I'm trying to see. Uh, Charlie, what's up, Charlie? Charlie's in the house. Let's see here. What do we got? DK Metcalf or Mike Evans? Who do you pick? I personally don't like either one of them. If I had to choose, I think Mike Evans is a little bit safer. More of an established wide receiver one where there's no young JSN in there that I got to worry about. He's got Godwin, but Godwin is Godwin. He's always going to be the backseat guy. Take a backseat to Evans, right? Like, you don't want the guy that's in the backseat, the guy that's the backup. You don't want the guy that's there. You don't want that. You want the guy that's in the front seat, right? You want the alpha of the team. That's all what you want. You guys don't want the backups, okay? Aim high depth chart. We talked about the tips, okay? Mike Evans, again, a little bit older now. Again, just feels a little safer. Again, not typically the wide. I have no stock in these guys this year. Again, in the 16 rounds, I explain exactly who to get, okay? Chill Out says, I watch all your videos. Glad I can finally catch a live, man. Every night, 8:30, except for tomorrow, because I'm going to be at the Fantasy Sports Summit you guys get tickets for. Last day to get I'll get tickets tomorrow again. Let's see here. B-Matt says, the Summit's going to be great. I can't wait. Great insights. Who would you stack with Bryce Young? Man, I mean, it sounds like you're in a super flex league because Bryce Young, I got him in a super flex league as my third quarterback, by the way. I'm hoping for good things because I like him. I think this is the make or break year. You know, just for the value, I just put Leggett there and see what happens. I mean, I think Deontay Johnson had an injury today. Obviously, Deontay's kind of the go guy. You know, again, we don't want to take a back seat, but based on value, if you're getting other wide receivers, you want to go him. If you want Jatavian Sanders, there's a big dice throw there. You get a tight end with some upside. You go Jatavian Sanders and hope for a prayer. You know, Leggett, Sanders, they're pretty much free if you really want to find someone to stack, unless you want to pay a little bit more of a premium and get Deontay Johnson. So that's a good question there. There's a couple sleepers here for you, okay? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Trezor asks, Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously number one rookie wide receiver. Not necessarily, man. I really think that, you know, Brian Thomas Jr., Keon Coleman, any one of these guys could really outperform him because you look at who's throwing the ball, right? I'd rather have Josh Allen throwing to Keon Coleman. I'd rather have, you know, maybe even Trevor Lawrence, right? We don't know. Some of these quarterbacks are better that are throwing, right? So I don't know. I just, based on the track record of Kyler past couple of years, very, very hard to trust. So, you know, I'm a little bit concerned about Marvin Harrison, but I mean, the talent is amazing. Based on talent, I'd say Harrison for sure. But so much other good wide receivers in great situations where the quarterback just throws more. It's a little more reliable, okay? So, guys, go head on over right now, thefantasyfootballaccounts.com. Grab 16 rounds. As soon as we're done this, head on over because all the answers are there. You don't even need a Q&A. We'll talk soon, guys. I'm going to be at the Fantasy Sports Summit tomorrow. Won't be doing a live. Grab your tickets at thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. Use code DEAL, save 50%. Go right now. Grab a ticket. Treat yourself, guys. What are you waiting for? Where it's going to be super fun. We'll talk soon, guys. I appreciate you. Have yourself a great evening. We got a show tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Turn on the bell to this channel. I'll see you at the summit. Talk soon.